Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. Today we are going to be seeing what kind of gifts you're getting from Spirit. So, what surprising gifts are headed your way? We're going to get into all of it. And today, of course, your selection is some beautiful Christmas gifts for you to choose from. I do want to mention that I also have a Patreon. So, if you like my readings and how I read tarot, that's where you can go to find more of my content. I just posted a reading all about their late night thoughts about you. So that's kind of a spicy, more fun reading. And then I've also posted a reading all about your spiritual progress, the shadow work you've been doing, and seeing where you are with that trajectory. So there's a deep reading, more of a lighthearted reading, but there's all kinds of content over on Patreon, exclusive to Patreon, readings about money, career, love, relationships, all different kinds of topics, and new ones go up all the time. You also get early access and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. They always get posted over there first. So if all of that sounds good to you and you want to join me on Patreon, just head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description. So if you are new to this channel, welcome. And basically I do pick a card readings, but I often use food or other items for you to choose from. Today it's Christmas gifts, so you just want to see which of these gifts is sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention in towards it, pulling your energy towards it. And then as soon as you've made up your mind, just scroll down to the timestamps in the comments in the description and jump right into your pile. I also want to mention that I do private readings. So if you would like to sign up for a one-on-one session with me and get my undivided attention for whatever issue you may have, then go to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description as well. So thanks for watching, guys. Now, if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey, pile one, welcome to your reading. So for your oracle cards, you guys got Happy Family, Fourth Chakra Archangel Raphael, Yin Yang, and Blossoming Abundance. So I feel like a major thing coming in for you, first of all, is maybe more of a sense of balance in your life. If you've been feeling like you've been way overworking, or maybe in the opposite direction, you feel like you haven't had much to do and your schedule has just been like way too open, this may be more of a balance. I almost feel like for some of you guys, this is also a shifting of priorities in your life. Maybe deciding that you want to spend more time with friends and you've been working too hard, or vice versa. You've been taking it easy with your career and you really want to put a little more effort into that. But I almost feel like for some of you guys, it's really figuring out like what kind of a life makes you happy, and more of that middle path, less extreme of like, I'm going to do this. I think sometimes people think, with certain careers, I'm going to push myself as hard as I can and I'm going to reach a certain level and then I can relax. But of course, sometimes that level never comes, or when it does come, it's like you have other obligations. So you have to keep pushing yourself. And sometimes the best thing you can do is to build a life for yourself that you really love, that is an overall fulfilling life, that has an equal amount of career challenges, along with relationships that bring you fulfillment, along with hobbies and things that make you happy, along with intellectual things that you're learning and challenging yourself on. So it's almost like we don't need to go too far in one direction or another. We just need to find something that works for us and is manageable and is like a good life. Like the Greeks had that concept of eudaimonia, which is like the ultimate fulfilling life that is a balance of a lot of things and is also serving a higher purpose. So, a lot of people debate what is the purpose of life, or what is the best kind of life you can live. And of course, there's Stoics that say it's all about achievement, or there's hedonists that say it's all about just going out and having fun and having, as much food as you want and as much sex as you want and all the more fun things in life. But eudaimonia is all about finding a higher purpose, finding something that feels like it is serving some long-term good, serving some kind of a life destiny, and serving the collective in some way, and kind of the joy you get out of that fulfillment. And it's also, to a certain extent, I think, a little bit more balanced, because it's not just completely devoting yourself to a cause at the expense of everything else. It's more about let me find purpose and let me find happiness through purpose, but like I'm not going to work myself to the point of destroying myself, you know? And I feel like for some of you guys, maybe at this time, it's just about giving yourself permission almost to step back, trust the process. I'm hearing for some of you guys, they just sent me a message that you're very like closed off energetically. And sometimes, even in your relationships, like you would never call a friend if you were sick, or you would never ask someone for help. And I almost feel like there's an energy around you of opening up a little bit more, not being so closed off. If there were relationships that traumatized you, what I'm hearing is you might be healing some of those. It may even have to do with family situation, but I feel like there's things that happened at one point that made you feel almost like you could never ask for help, or you shouldn't open up to that many people. And what I'm feeling like is you're kind of realizing how beautiful it can be to trust someone, and how special it can be to really let someone fully into your life. It's interesting because we got fourth chakra Archangel Raphael, and Raphael is the healing angel. So maybe you're healing that sector of your life. Maybe you're working through some shadow work and some past life, or past, not even past life as in other lifetimes, but like in this life, earlier parts of your life. Um, you might be working through past traumas and difficulties and pain that you didn't really fully address at the time. And I feel like now you almost have this space. Maybe this is where the more balance in your life, maybe now, like you're at a job where you do get paid well, but you also get to have your full weekends off, and you also get to have a situation where you're leaving at 5 p.m. and you're not having to stay at the office until 9:30. But it feels like you have a little more space in your life, or maybe you're just getting paid more. And so you don't have as much of a being in survival mode, having to focus on bills and all that. It feels like you're at a place in your life when you can invest in yourself, maybe even like pay for therapy, or pay for Reiki healings, or readings with like a psychic, a regular psychic or something, to heal some of these wounds. But it feels like kind of you have this space around yourself to like relax and breathe out almost, and take care of a lot of this. And I feel like the person you're becoming is very different from the person that you have been, like almost like this traumatized version of you that maybe you thought was yourself is not going to be the person that you are by the end of this year, or definitely not in like 10 years. And it's almost like you are going through the transformations where you're going to be ready for so many more blessings within the next few years. And it's almost like if you watch this reading being like, okay, so it's more healing energy. Oh, great. Like I've been doing that. Yeah, but you've made so much progress. And I think that you are so much closer to getting all the big things in life that maybe you wanted. Maybe this is like you've always wanted a family, but you haven't been able to, navigate that and make it happen, especially with relationships or whatever. And now the person you're becoming and the shadow work you're doing on yourself is going to prepare you to be able to maintain that relationship, to bring in a kid, and also be an amazing parent. But I feel like you're doing so much of this work, and it's like you are preparing such a beautiful situation. Like I'm seeing someone like going through a garden and hoeing the garden and like tilling the soil and getting it ready for planting, That's what spirit showed me. And that is a process. It is not just like an overnight thing. And sometimes we have to have patience, especially for those big blessings. I always mention, like, if you're going to build a tiny shack, you can start building it today. It'll probably take you a couple hours. You could do it. You don't need to know what you're doing. But if you're going to build like a skyscraper or a mansion or a palace or a castle, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a really long time. So I feel like you guys are building your way to like a beautiful new opportunity in life, and you're clearing out some of the old, getting rid of some of your old habits. And there's a message here just to have some patience with yourself, because I feel like some of your gifts, you're getting some of them now, but also the work you're doing, like you're making such good progress. I just literally just had this sense of exhilaration just run up my spine, just like this super joyful, almost like I want to jump up and down and start dancing. And it's literally the happiest feeling. And I feel like that is what your guides feel towards you. Like it's almost like, oh my God, you actually did it. Because I think so many people, like they may say like, oh, I'm doing spiritual growth work, but they're not really. Or their spiritual growth work is like staying very much in bitterness and just blaming everyone else, which, of course that's a part of shadow work, is unpacking who did what to you. And I think that's so important. And then it's like we have to also move forward to like, okay, well, what do I do about this? Because there's no real point in just staying like super mad at someone and being in an energy of anger. Um, but we need to like acknowledge also. So I know it's tricky. It's tricky. It's a tricky to strike that balance, which is the theme of your reading, balance, yin yang. It's hard to have a balance between holding someone responsible or kind of acknowledging like, I think this kind of made me blah blah blah, so I need to be careful about that, and then staying in an energy of like real hurt and rage and frustration, which can of course bring our energy down. But I feel like, so some people say, I'm going to do the shadow work, and then they don't really do it. They don't really look inward that much. They don't really fix anything about themselves, because that is a lot harder. It's a lot easier to be like, yeah, this person caused that, which is like true. But then it's like, oh, okay, so how did I adapt to that? How did I learn this? And learning to change ourselves can often be a lot harder than kind of like, seeing the flaws in everyone else. And I feel like a lot of you guys, you really have done the shadow work. You haven't just said you're going to do it. You haven't just been like, yeah, I'm kind of working on this, or I'm doing some of it, or I'm doing some of the fun spiritual work. Like you have really been willing to take this on, which is so rare. And I think your guides are so happy. They're so pleased. They're like, oh my God, they actually did it. I feel like it's kind of like the example of like, a jaded teacher, and they have a bunch of students, and maybe they have one student who says like, I'm going to work really hard this semester. Or they have one student that they're like, I think they seem talented, but they've done really bad in the past. I know they've been through a lot, and they have high hopes that maybe this person's going to be able to like do a really good job, but they don't really trust it because the kid's been dealt with a lot. They've had a lot of things to deal with. And then that kid like actually studies, does such a good job, and like beats the odds, and that teacher being so happy and so thrilled, and being like, oh my God, I can't believe they did it, and they fully lived up to their potential. Because it's like, once you've been around, you see how hard that is. You see how hard it is to break out of a paradigm or a set of behaviors that you're used to. And I feel like that's what y'all have done. Like you guys have really pushed yourselves. And I feel like a blessing you're going to get is continuing this shadow work. I know that you're like, what kind of a gift is that? That does not sound like a gift. But truly, I think the payoff is coming for you, sooner rather than later. But I feel like in the upcoming year or so, it is about continuing this shadow work and having more balance in your life. And it's going to blossom slowly. The best things in life take time. Like I said, if you're building a palace, that takes time. Those beautiful old castles that they make in Europe that are just so iconic and everyone's obsessed with them, and they're so beautiful. Those old, old castles, those take like sometimes it would take like a century to build, literally. Sometimes it would, decades was like the norm, and no one expected them to be built overnight. And so honestly, I feel like you guys are building like a palace for yourself. You're building something amazing. You're really shifting paradigms, and what you're doing is incredible. Like I feel like in some ways, a lot of you guys, you wouldn't even recognize yourself. If you sat down with yourself from like 5, 10 years ago, probably you'd be like, who is this? You might not even get along with that person. And not in a bad way, but just like you're so different now, and you've done so much work. You're so much more mature. And if you're feeling stagnant, if you're feeling like, but things haven't moved forward, and I want the like big events, I want you to tell me your next gift is going to be this specific event. Just know that those events are coming, and it's like you're almost there. You're doing the shadow work, but they can only come through that. But the progress you've made is so exponential. It's so amazing. You have worked on yourself so much, and all your guides and angels and ancestors can see it. But let's get into some tarot. We'll see if we get anything specific in the tarot. We want specific, Spirit, but whatever messages you have about what gifts that are coming towards pile number 1. You want gifts for pile number 1. Let's see. I love when the shuffling takes forever. Ooh, we got the Empress. Okay. And we got the Page of Cups. I love it because the Empress is always in her rest and in her repose. She's never stressing. She's very relaxed, and it's kind of a slow energy, or at least that's how I interpret the Empress, is like she's not rushing around. She's not in a hurry. And also Cups is kind of slow. Neither one is air or fire, wands or swords. It's kind of a slower, more chill energy. And this is how I feel like your life, it's almost like, too, your life just might be more calm very soon. And you might be getting the gift of more calmness, more relaxation. You also may be really getting more relationships. That's something I'm feeling for sure. And Cups, the Page of Cups, the Empress could definitely talk about that. There may be more relationships coming in for you and more openness in that arena, because I do feel like for some of you guys, you have been closed off. You haven't been fully open, and some of you guys have been keeping people at a distance to a certain extent. And I feel like this comes in as such a welcome relief. Like it's almost like there's a part of you that maybe you thought you were always going to be super independent. Maybe you thought that, I'm not a relationship person, and this is going to surprise you and make you realize how beautiful it can be to really let someone else into your heart and to open yourself up to them. Archangel Raphael is also a love angel, so he does have to do with relationships as well. And he's healing in all areas of life, but he's very much, he loves love and he loves to help out with love. So I feel like for you guys, this is possibly love coming in. And it's also, I think, a change in your relationships and an ability to navigate those relationships and to be present and to be there for the people in your life that I feel like kind of didn't exist in the past. Maybe because you'd be stressed or you'd be like dealing with a lot in the rest of your life, but it felt like in the past, you didn't necessarily have the time or the space or the room to fully open up. And this may be more time for hobbies as well. We got the Page of Cups. So I'm seeing some of you guys just living a life that you enjoy a little bit more, seeking out those things that bring a smile to your face, seeking out those things that move you and get you excited and, have you yeah, excited and joyful and just enjoying your life. So maybe even something like reading or writing or painting or cooking or anything like that, any kind of creative hobby can be indicated by the Page of Cups. It also can be a new relationship. I feel like there's a beautiful energy where you guys aren't holding people at a distance as much as you might have in the past. Maybe in the past, when you would get to know someone, you kind of still keep them at arm's length, or you kind of still have certain boundaries up with them. And I feel like now there's much more of a like, I completely welcome this in, I'm allowing this to happen. And I feel like because of that, you're going to be amazed by how much people love you and enjoy you. The more I think there's some of you guys, I don't know, what I'm getting is there was someone in your past who told you or taught you that you were unworthy, or there was something about you that was like gross or like not lovable. And I feel like what you're going to be amazed by is that the more you welcome people in and the closer you let people become to you, the more authentic you are, the more you show of yourself, and the less you hide, the more people are going to love it. It's almost like, this is so funny, but Spirit is showing me the image of like the Mona Lisa painting, but instead, such a funny image, but instead of it being fully revealed, it's like mostly covered up, and there's just like a sliver of the painting showing, like a tiny triangle in the top upper left corner. And it's almost like there's this fear that like, oh, but what if they see the whole thing? They're gonna hate it. They're gonna think it's so lame. And what if someone did that with the Mona Lisa? What if they hid away the Mona Lisa in like someone's attic, or they never revealed it, or Leonardo da Vinci, after he painted it, was like, oh, this sucks, let me just paint over it. You know what I mean? But it is probably the most, yeah, for sure, the most known painting in the world, the most famous. People love it. People come from all over the world to see it. And imagine if she, Mona Lisa, I guess, was embarrassed and was trying to hide herself and didn't want to show her face to things. So I feel like for you guys, there's this energy where you are like the Mona Lisa. You are like this beautiful masterpiece. And I feel like your guides, angels, and ancestors, they want you to be more open. They want you to show yourself. They don't want you hiding away. And kind of keeping yourself in the safe zone to a certain extent. Like, I think sometimes people do that because they're afraid of rejection. This could even be being more honest in relationships, like stepping to someone and being like, this is how I feel and I really like you. And kind of having that bravery to be fully honest with someone in a relationship or while you're dating, to fully open your heart up to that person. Let me get some more tarot cards. For pile number one, we want some tarot cards. What is gifts is pile number one going to get? And we're not doing reversals. Okay, we got the Tower and we got the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so those cards coming out together can sometimes indicate a need to be cautious, like around finances, and a need to just make sure that you're watching your finances and you're not going crazy with them. You're not overspending or you're not being like negligent and not looking at them. So that's just a little warning for some of you guys. It's supposed to be a positive reading though, so I don't know why they would say something negative, but those coming out next to each other can often mean something like that, like a caution around finances or a need to be careful with finances. I also feel like, given the fact that this is a positive reading, it could talk about the blessing that sometimes comes when we do have to like strip things down, like when we have to start paying attention to like, my finances a little bit. And maybe we had been spending money mindlessly, or we had been distracting ourselves by paying for like 8 different streaming services, and every night we'd come back and watch Netflix, and suddenly we're like, I'm going to cut those off, and we stop watching Netflix. And then we realize that we love going for a walk around our neighborhood every night, to spend that time doing that instead, and we feel so much better. You know what I mean? But let's clarify these cards. What do you mean with the Tower and the Five of Pentacles? Spirit, what do you mean with the Tower and the Five of Pentacles? Okay, so we got the Knight of Swords and the Ten of Cups. So these are much more positive. It could even be that sometimes having not enough finances can motivate us to like find a hobby, find another source of income. With the Knight of Swords, for some of you guys, it could be writing more or communicating more or pivoting in how you communicate. Like, it may be that every time we're at work, we try to tiptoe around and be really nice to everyone. And when we start realizing that we're not making as much money as we could, we become more blunt, or we become more honest, or we just are willing to like spend 2 hours talking to every client because we really are trying to do our best. And in that way, it's almost like I feel like Spirit is tugging on you to show more of yourself to others. You know what I mean? There's some message in that, in like you being 100% and you being fully honest. I also am getting the message just intuitively for some of you guys that if there's something you've been plugging away at, there may be forward momentum. And I heard specifically March. So maybe something is going to happen in March, forward momentum in your career in some way, something moving ahead in some way, some kind of breakthrough in some way that may be happening in March for you. And I feel like after that, it may get a little bit easier, but I do feel like you're being pushed into this energy of like being more transparent, being honest, doing, truly showing it all and not holding yourself back. If that's something you have done in the past, if you've kind of tiptoed around and not wanted to be fully honest, don't worry. I think you're being pushed out of that, whether you want to or not, but you are being pushed out of that. And I feel like it's actually going to make you much closer to certain people. We have the Ten of Cups, so that can be an energy of really being close to others. It could be spending time with family or close friends or a really close relationship. But I almost feel like some of you guys are pivoting from getting some of your value from what you do, like from what you earn or from the work you do, and pivoting it into relationships. So if you've neglected that sector of your life in the past and you haven't been someone who has like really given it all to your relationship sector. Maybe you've been like, yeah, I've been kind of a workaholic, or I've been kind of in relationships, but I don't fully give all of myself. There's some energy with you really finding, for some of you guys, a super close relationship and really being able to unfold onto this person and to really kind of intertwine with them and give that your all. So I want to get some astrology dice for pile number one about what gifts they're getting from Spirit. And we got the first house, Mars. Okay, so double Aries and then Libra. So let's spin the houses one more time since we got um, double energy. This is the second house, Taurus. We have double Venus, and then we have Mars, which does rule actually two signs, Scorpio and Aries, but specifically in modern astrology, Aries. And then we have Taurus and Libra, both ruled by Venus, planet of love. So again, I feel like a lot of this is, and the Empress card has the Venus symbol on it. This is that energy of relaxation, of kind of like calming down and seeping into something, allowing something to happen, not rushing it, not forcing it, but being very gentle in our energy and understanding that things take time. Like Taurus is one of the slowest signs in the zodiac. They're kind of famously like chilled out, or some would say lazy, and Libra is as well. And you know, they're still, Taurus is like the master builder, and Libra is always one of the wealthiest signs. So, like I said, good things take time. Amazing, beautiful things take time to build. And we shouldn't be freaking out or panicking if it hasn't happened for us overnight. I think we can have such a rushing energy of like, it has to happen right now and it has to look like this and blah, blah, blah. When actually, when we think about most good things in our life, I bet when you think about it, anything good most of the time took a little bit of time to build. So just having that patience is a really good move. Then we also got Mars, which rules over Scorpio, and also Aries. So talking about Aries, since we had gotten the first house specifically, that is the house of the self. Aries is about the individual, but it's funny because Mars does rule two signs. In ancient astrology, it also rules Scorpio, and that rules over the eighth house of shared income. So it's funny because those are kind of like different sides of the same coin. One is all about the self, me, I, and then Scorpio, the other sign it used to rule, is about shared income and really joining with someone completely. And I kind of feel like that's the energy some of you guys are stepping into. This may be about a relationship that wants to come in, or just letting more people in generally to your life, to who you are, showing yourself more authentically. Because one thing about Aries and Scorpio is they're both fully their authentic selves. That's why I have a lot of Scorpios and Aries in my life. And I love it because you never have to worry. My pet peeve, being Mercury squaring Pluto, is I hate when someone is like lying. I hate when someone's dishonest. I hate when someone's faking. I hate when someone pretends to like you, but they really don't. Like, who likes that? No one does, right? But so many people act that way. And you never have to worry about that with an Aries or a Scorpio, because if they don't like you, they'll make it so perfectly clear. And so if they do like you, they'll also make it clear and you can trust it. And I feel like for you guys, there's this sense of like, I don't know about showing myself. Let me put these walls up. Let me keep people at a distance, and kind of moving from that energy that's all about the self, which is Aries, into embracing that you can still be your true, authentic, even Martian self that's genuinely, going to ask for what you want. But you can do it with someone else. You can allow someone else in. You can show yourself. You can be truthful. You can be authentic. You can let out all the old secrets and bring in some sunlight. So, yeah, I think a lot of you guys, you're letting go of old versions of yourself that were very caught up in like one way of doing things, or you had this idea that you had to keep up a facade or an image. And what you're stepping into is this beautiful relief of realizing that you're just perfect as you already are. The right people are going to absolutely love you and be obsessed with you. They're going to think you're freaking amazing. They're going to feel so grateful to be around you. So knowing that, there's no need to fake or put up a different identity or try to come off a certain way. The best thing to do is be your fully authentic and honest self, and then allow the right people to step towards you and to embrace you. Because the more truthfully you can show yourself, the more you're allowing space for those right people to show up. So I think that's the message I have for you, Pile 1. I hope it resonates. If it did, let me know in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys, your thoughts, stories, all your information. So let me know. Also give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button. And I just posted over on my Patreon a reading all about their late night thoughts about you. So it's an 18+ spicy reading. And I also posted all about the spiritual progress you've made. You guys especially might need to watch that, since I feel like you have been doing so much shadow work. You might want that little check-in on the progress that you've made, the progress you're about to make, the kind of work you've been doing, and where you're at with that. So there's all kinds of readings over there. We have the fun, spicy ones, we have the deep ones, we have the love relationship, we have the work, shadow work, spiritual. We have all kinds of readings. So if you're interested in seeing more of my content, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description for my Patreon. And you also will get early access to all my YouTube videos. They all get posted early over there and also ad free. So there's so much content, over 70 exclusive readings, and you'll get access to all of them as soon as you sign up. So like I said, if that sounds good to you, head to my Patreon and I'd love to see you there. And if you want to get a private reading with me, you can get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. You can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, and yeah, you get to ask me basically whatever you want. So if that sounds good to you, go to my website, briarrosetarot.com. Link is in my description for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile number 2, welcome to your reading. So for your oracle cards, you guys got Angel of Strength, Victory, Hostilities, and Door to Value. So for some of you guys, this is a leveling up in your career or some kind of position of status for you. It's almost like I'm hearing more people will know your name. More people are going to know about you or be talking about you. And so it is going to feel like a very powerful moment of victory. However, I'm also hearing that with that increased visibility, increased status, there's also going to be some jealousy directed at you. There's also going to be some hostilities, some anger. So it's a double-sided coin, or a double-edged sword, I should say, where there is the blessing of that and the leveling up and the increased status, but then also the jealousy and the envy that may come with that. So I feel like you're going to have to be able to manage that. I'm also hearing for some of you guys, this may be dating someone or being with someone who's very attractive and people being jealous of your relationship in some way, or someone who is paying attention to you romantically, but there's people jealous of that for some reason. Maybe they, I don't know, have something that this person wants, something that a third party wants, and they're jealous of your relationship. They're jealous of the fact that you're getting that attention, or it could even be you just looking really good and getting multiple people paying attention to you and someone being jealous. But there is jealousy around you. Maybe some of you guys have been leveling up lately. Maybe some of you guys have been working on your appearance as well, because I'm feeling like it's also you looking extra good. I feel like some of you guys are getting like settling into a position of higher status in some way. So it's almost like you're making a name for yourself. Even if it's not, at first I was like, oh, this must be a career reading. This must be a career blessing, but it may also be within like a social group or even at a workplace or any romance. It could be anything, but I'm feeling like people know you, and this is where the jealousy comes in. People are aware of you, like you're being talked about. I'm feeling that really strongly, like you're being talked about in other rooms. And yeah, I'm almost feeling like for some of you guys, this may be like someone who's off at college and people start talking about that person. Like they become known as like, oh, that's the cute girl, or that's the popular girl, or something like that. And then there's like haters, or it could be at your job, everyone knows you, and you become like the popular person at the office. It's very like high school vibes, but I feel like a big part of it is jealousy about your personality, because some of you guys are very bubbly, outgoing, you're very likable, and also you guys just really do look good. And like I said, romantically, if you've been wanting romantic attention or you have been wanting to date, you might be getting a lot of that, and that may be causing jealousy as well, especially with the types of partners that you can attract, because I feel like there's people that are like, oh, I could never date the people that pile 2 dates, excuse me. I could never get that kind of a partner. So there's people who are jealous of your partner. People who I'm hearing they don't deserve them. Someone is wondering or asking to themselves, how did pile number 2 land that? They don't deserve that. So I'm not sure who this is or what situation this is, but there's something with someone. It could even be like a close friend that you told about, like someone you're dating or something, or a situationship or a crush or someone you're talking to, and someone close to you being jealous of it. I feel like this has been a long time coming though for you. So I'm kind of mad because I'm like, okay, it feels like pile number two, y'all really earned this. Like you earned it. You know what I mean? You deserve this. This has been something that like like I said, it's been a long time coming and it took work. Even if it is you're just looking really good lately. You may have had to do things to look good, like whether you had to, I don't know, change your diet or fitness or do so, like it feels like there's something about this that you made an active choice or you chose this. And of course there's the aspect of like a random blessing in that if you meet someone and you're really in love with them or you really hit it off with someone, there's an element of happenstance in that and of serendipity and good luck. But I also feel like there's things about this that like you deserve it. You know what I mean? You may have had a hard dating life in the past, or you had to really work for this somehow, but there's something in it where I'm like, okay, this wasn't just, it's not like pile two has just had everything handed to them, the easiest life and just no effort at all, you know, and just everything given to them. It feels like this was something that you wanted and you're so happy for it. And you deserve it. And so it's making me mad on your behalf that this person feels like such a hater. But let me get into some tarot. We're going to shuffle tarot and see what gifts are happening for pile number two. The Queen of Swords. Okay. The Queen of Swords. Let's see what other cards we're going to get. What other gifts is pile number two getting? What gifts is pile number two getting? I guess we could talk a little bit about the Queen of Swords since I think this card for some reason doesn't want to come out. So I don't want you to have to listen to me shuffling for just the next 5 minutes. So with the Queen of Swords, for some of you guys, this could be you getting a better ability to speak or communicate your beliefs. It could be that you now are becoming very on point with what you want as well, very precise about that. The Queen of Swords, swords are also like a conflict type of card, or suit, an element that is filled with conflict. Obviously, that's the sword. It's literally used for fighting, right? So again, I think with the Queen of Swords, sometimes it can be like being the queen in a prickly situation or having to use your wiles, having to use your smarts to navigate that. I feel like also the Queen of Swords, she has a great personality. She's well spoken, she's really smart, she's very curious, she's super intelligent, probably the most intelligent of all the queen cards. I would say that's fair. So, you know, again, I feel like there's this jealousy, and also she's very like put together, composed. She's not very overly emotional or, you know, wild or crazy in any way. And I feel like some of it is like people being jealous because they can't rustle your feathers. But you may be stepping into this role where she has such a dignity to her. She's very smart. She's very graceful. She's not going to lose her ish and start flipping out and like, you know, getting mad at people or just doing wild stuff. She's very in control. And I feel like there's something about that with you, and almost like people wanting to see you get mad or people wanting to see you. But honestly, I feel like you're also just very striking for your grace and your beauty pile too. And a lot of people lately, and a gift coming from spirit is people noticing that more and more. It's almost like you have a spotlight trained on you lately. People are paying attention to you. People are seeing you for who you are and noticing you in a different way. If you did do something different about your appearance, it may have really brought out your bone structure, your features, your appearance, and you may just really be making a good impression on people lately. Um, wow. It also, with the Justice card coming out right next to the Victory card, there may be an element of success in a legal matter if that's something you have been worried about, or if you have a legal matter hanging over your head. There may be success or positive forward momentum with that. So yeah, that could be a very positive sign only for those of you guys who are invested or involved in any kind of legal issue. It may be a big sign of success with that. Let me get into some more cards though. What kind of gifts are coming pile number two's way? What kind of gifts are coming pile number two's way? Six of Cups. Definitely that romantic vibe I'm picking up on. The Hierophant. Okay. So that's more of that position of authority vibe. Some of you guys, wow. I'm telling you, this sun, look how many major arcana cards too we got. And the Five of Cups. So yeah, it's like, I don't know. I feel like you have this glow around you right now, pile number two. Some of you guys, people are just noticing you. It's like there's something about you that just, you're attracting attention. People are drawn to you the way that all the planets rotate around the sun and and it has that magnetic pull or gravitational pull, whatever it is. You kind of have that around you at this time. Like I feel like there's something about you that it's just, I don't even know how to put it. It's like a je ne sais quoi. It's a different, un hard to put into words vibe, but there's something about you that I feel like people's eyes are drawn to you. People are paying attention to you. There's almost an insouciant quality. Like I feel like you're doing things the way you want to, and you're very effortless, you know? You're not trying for it. You just feel like you've stepped into this place. Your energy feels very calm to me at this time. And I feel like a gift coming your way is that this effortless, easy energy that you have around you is going to draw more people in towards you. And I'm also hearing a message that if you were thinking of moving or if you've been debating, like this isn't for those of you guys who've made up your mind where you're like, I definitely want to move. But this is a message for only some people. If you have been thinking about making a move or traveling, or there's something with that that's been up in the air. And I feel like some of you guys have been debating it, going back and forth, like, oh, should I do it? I don't know. I don't know. The answer is maybe not right now. Stay put because you are making inroads in whatever this is. You're really moving ahead quite well. You're making an identity for yourself that's going to pay off. Maybe this is even thinking about pivoting in your career, maybe being like, well, I don't like the progress I've made at this job. Maybe I should just switch offices. It's almost like just hold on and wait. And I feel like you'll also know what you want to do better at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of 2024, if this is when you're watching it, or if you're watching it later than when I released it, which was early mid-December, so before Christmas. So if you're watching this in like May, it may be within the next few months that you'll know. Not super far, but maybe in the next, give it a couple months, let it kind of mellow right now. Let it linger and just kind of chill because I feel like you don't even realize that like you're turning heads. You don't even realize that people are noticing you. You don't even realize the effect you're having on others and that it's almost like quiet growth. You know what I mean? It's like you are making an impact, but you may not be aware of it. You may have people talking about you, but never tell you. Have you ever had that situation where like you meet someone and they're like, "Oh, I've seen you around before," or "Oh yeah, I noticed you." And sometimes they'll say something specific, right? Like they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you always come here to this bakery around this time, right?" And you're like, yeah, but how did you know?" Like sometimes it can feel a little creepy, but it's like a compliment because it's like, wow, okay, I didn't know anyone noticed. I didn't know I made that impression. And imagine if that person was being honest, they'd be like, well, of course I noticed because you're stunning, or because you look really nice. You know what I mean? You only really notice the people that like stick out to you as attractive or have something going for them, or sometimes in the total opposite direction if they look really weird. But I feel like for you guys, it's almost like that vibe where maybe no one's coming up and telling you to your face, I've noticed you before, or I'm noticing you, or wow, you're making a real impact, but you are. And it's kind of like you have to just kind of trust this. I do feel like, yeah, people are paying attention to you on a very deep level. Pile number two. You're turning heads. And I feel like your gift is, especially as you make inroads or you gain status in whatever this is, it may be forming a new identity, it may be getting a new friend circle, it may be getting a new level up in your career, in your status, a new status in your career in that way. It may even be new love or romantic love with the Six of Cups, because that is a really beautiful, blissful love energy. Can also talk about memories from the past. So it could be even someone or friend groups from your past coming back. But I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is people recognizing who you are and you feeling full of life and having this eyes on you type energy, having people notice you in a way that they haven't before. And it's almost like taking notes and taking names, I guess. We also got the Hierophant. So the Hierophant can definitely be stepping into that role of being a leader. And I feel like people are looking up to you. You may be very well capable of verbalizing yourself lately. Even though Mercury's retrograde or retrograding by the time this video comes out, you may still be like really well spoken. I feel like some of you guys are great with your words, you're great with your thoughts, you're just very intelligent and you're good at verbalizing everything. And I feel like people have noticed that more and more about you. When you talk, I'm feeling like it's very charming, it pulls people in. So I do feel like you're going to have eyes on you, you're going to have people drawn to you. And like I said, you're making quite the impression. It feels like this is almost like the sun coming out from behind the clouds. So maybe for some of you guys, you felt like you haven't been getting the attention you wanted, or maybe you haven't even wanted attention. Maybe you've been kind of shying away from it. And now this is an energy of you fully stepping into that role and being like, yeah, you can look at me. I love it. But let me get into this deck. So we want to pull from this deck and figure out what gifts are coming pile number two's way. What gifts are coming pile number two's way? Oh my God, I saw that as it flipped out. Stranger curiosity. I'm telling you, so many people are curious about you, pile number two. So many people are looking at you, want to know you. And again, I feel like it's almost like this is the energy of people who haven't met you yet or have seen you around, maybe haven't gotten introduced to you, or someone that's like heard of you, or someone that like might stumble across you and almost like they're not fully coming forward yet to be like, by the way, I think you're freaking amazing. But I feel like you're on this path towards really leveling up with it and really getting a big amount of success with it. And I feel like you're on a path towards getting that recognition that you really wanted, and finally you kind of seeing the payoff. It's almost like you're minding your own business. You know, when you can feel that someone's like staring at you from across the room, you can just feel their eyes on you, but you don't know where it's coming from. It's almost like that's the vibe. Like people are looking at you, people are paying attention to you, but you may not have noticed it yet. You may not know where it's coming from. They may not have stepped forward into the light to be like, by the way, I have been watching you this whole time. So you might not be fully aware of that happening, but it is happening. Trust and believe it is happening. So I feel like a gift happening for you is also this increased confidence, almost like if in the past you did hold yourself back or you were like, yeah, I don't really want to put myself out there like that. Now you're in an energy of like, yeah, I am going to show myself. Yeah, I am feeling confident. Yeah, I am feeling bold. It's almost like you're speaking with more conviction as well. So when you talk or when you do anything, I feel like in the past you might have been kind of filled with self-doubt. And if you did something, maybe you'd second guess. Maybe you'd be like, oh, did I say that right? Or that was probably cringe. Or yeah, like I think I messed that up. That was dumb. And now I feel like you're just like, yeah, I said it. I have full belief in myself. I trust myself 100%. You're much stronger about like asking for what you want, saying what you want. And it's kind of, I know this is a funny thing to bring up, and everyone's going to be like, oh my God, you bring her up all the time. So I know it's crazy how much she comes up in readings, but she's such a big pop culture figure now. You probably know who I'm going to say, Taylor Swift, but I just read her thing about like winning the Times Person of the Year, and I think she said something about how she is back, like putting herself out there, and she said, you know, I'll never get those years back. I was so traumatized after 2016 when she got, you know, kind of canceled with the Kim Kardashian lie and all that stuff. And so she was like, I felt like I had to hide away. And now I kind of regret that because I'll never get those years back. And I always thought that when she started coming out more and more, I was like, that's good because she's a Sagittarius. Sagittarians are supposed to be out and about and living their best life and having fun. They're like a fire sign. There's always something wrong with fire signs when they're like holed up inside. Something has gone wrong. A water sign, fine for them. A fire sign, no, they need to be out exploring the world. That's like their energy. And that's what makes them so much fun. And so, anyway, all that being said is it's kind of giving me that vibe of like Taylor Swift as she suddenly started re-emerging and going from her like cabin in the woods era to being like, I want to party again. And I actually feel like it's a really positive thing for you guys. Almost like I'm not going to be afraid anymore. I'm not going to hold myself back anymore. I'm not going to be like sitting off in the wings and the shadows and just avoiding center stage. It's like, shine that spotlight on me, baby. I love it. I feel like that's the energy you're bringing into this new year or bringing into your life. And you're kind of coming back into a stronger version of yourself. Let me get one more card for pile number 2 and what gift they're getting. We got Winter's Dream, Gestation, and I'm going to get one more card. Many masks the authentic self. So I feel like part of it is you're learning to put up different boundaries, maybe better boundaries. Um, but I think a big part of it is also you're like, I don't even care about putting up boundaries. Like I'm sure for Taylor Swift, she probably has the same privacy concerns she had back in 2016, 17, 18. And, you know, she could lean into those insecurities, but it seems like she's in a place where she's just like, I don't care anymore. I don't care if the paparazzi take pictures. I don't care if stuff gets leaked. I want to live my best life and I'm going to do it. And I think that that's such a powerful energy to have. It's almost like when you first encounter the evil of the world or the haters or the jealousy, you get real shocked by it and you can have that instinct to go into hater or not hater mode, but hermit mode and just hide away from the world. And then it's like once you realize that, yeah, there are going to be haters. So, oh well, I'll just deal with it. That's when you really have your full power back. Once you stop trying to appease them, trying to get them to like you, and then accept that, yeah, they do hate me, but so what? Who cares? I'm going to be my best version of myself. That's when you have your power back. And I feel like that's what's happening with you is it's almost like, yeah, you know you're going to attract haters, but you love it. And actually, that's such a big sign. You know, it used to really bother me being such a typical water sign, right? Well, grand water trine, water, sun, moon. Like if someone was rude to me out in public, it would bother me and it would stick with me and I would be like, I can't believe they did that. Why did they have to be so, well, so mean? And I'd think about it and I'd ruminate on it. And then I realized, and lately I've been reframing it into my mind as a big compliment. So, like, if a girl is really rude to me for no reason, I'm like, oh, wow, I must look really good today. Wow, I still, you know what? I must look amazing. I may not have really put a lot of effort into my outfit today, but like, dang, I must be looking good because that girl was so crusty to me. So I must be looking extra fantastic. Or if like a guy is rude to me, same. And I'll just reframe it in my mind from like, "Ugh, why do they have to be so mean? The world is so cruel to like, compliment. They're a low vibrational energy and I must be looking extra good because the jealousy is popping out today. And honestly, I think that's such a great way to reframe it because it's like, yeah, whenever you're doing anything special, even not that special, some people are just psychotically jealous. You'll get jealousy. But if you can take it and just like roll with it, then it has no power over you. Let me get into some astrology dice for pile number 2. So we got Saturn, 10th house, and Cancer. This is just funny. It's making me laugh because it's like, it's actually weirdly enough, I was just thinking about, I know this sounds crazy. I sound like a psychotic person, but I was thinking about Taylor's astrology because she was talking so much about reinvention. I know I promise I'm not like an obsessed person, but I think about everyone's astrology all the time. I think once you fall down into the rabbit hole of astrology, literally everything that happens in life, you just start thinking about astrological energies, looking up random people's charts, trying to hunt down people's charts, asking your friends if like, what's your time of birth? What's your date? So you can like compare charts. Anyway, so I was thinking about how she has that um, Capricorn stellium. She also has a lot of Scorpio, and she was talking in the interview because I just read it about reinvention, and I feel like it's such a Capricorn plutonic thing that she was talking about how she could never be at the point she's at now if she hadn't gone through the low point of 2016. Such a Pluto Capricorn thing to say, in my opinion, because she does have a Scorpio ascendant conjunct Scorpio Mars. She also has Pluto in Scorpio, and then she also has a Capricorn stellium and it also has an inner planet there, Capricorn Mercury. Anyway, or yeah. And so anyway, not to go into that, but it's funny you got the energy because her chart also has Cancer Moon, which opposes her Mercury. Anyway, but my point in all of that is that there's something to be said for the energy of facing the haters head on, facing Saturn, and not taking it as like a downside, not taking it as like a negative or like a I I'm gonna give up because I'm facing Saturnian shit. Oop, I never curse on here, but anyway, I just did. I guess I'll flag it on YouTube. But I never, instead of running away from something, instead of being like, oh my God, I'm terrified of this, just accepting that it's going to be a part of life. And actually, once you do that, and once you can fully embrace it, and this is something I've noticed with all Capricornian or Saturnian dominant or Plutonian Scorpionic dominant people, is like they really understand this energy of reinvention, and they're not as easily dissuaded once they face an obstacle. Like someone with a Capricorn stellium or a Scorpio stellium isn't going to be as like shocked and horrified as someone with maybe a Libra stellium when they start facing that opposition that the universe is going to give you, because it's like they understand it's part of the process. And if anything, it can be a sign of success. And I feel like that's what you guys maybe have been through or learned. And maybe that's why you're able now to step back into this beautiful, positive energy, is like now you're understanding that, like, yeah, that comes as part of it. It's not a sign that you're on the wrong track. And it's not a thing of like, well, let me run away or let me try to appease these people or try to make them like me. Well, let me just continue what the heck I'm doing and know that this shows that I'm in alignment, and know that the more I level up and the higher and higher I climb, the more resistance I'm going to get. But again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's sometimes a destiny moment. We got the North Node for you guys. So, and it's interesting as well, thinking about how Capricorn does oppose Cancer, because Cancer is that like feel good, positive energy sign, and Capricorn is that harshness. And I think sometimes we really have to remove ourselves from like, we want to feel close to everyone. We want everyone to get along and kumbaya, but that's just not how the world works. There are evil people in the world. There are people that want to bring you down. There are people that are going to see your success and not only not be happy, but try to sabotage you. But if anything, what we need to do is just power through that. And I think that's a lesson you guys are really learning in your level up process. You're learning that, yeah, there are going to be some messed up people, and there are going to be some people that treat you really badly or don't want the best for you or think of you as a jerk, or they just don't like you for whatever reason. But I think right now you're learning how to step into this mantle of shining brightly and not holding yourself back and not being afraid of the attention or the spotlight, but instead just welcoming in the end that, yeah, I'm sure I'm going to get the haters. Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to have not people not like me. And I honestly feel like for a lot of you guys, this is maybe a precursor to even greater success, more of a spotlight, bigger eyes on you than ever before. And it's almost like you're fully embracing this. You're fully like leaning into it, and it's going to prepare you for even more forward momentum, even more tension and positivity and self-growth. So yeah, I think this is a beautiful step forward in your life, pile number 2. So I think that's what I have for you. I hope it resonates. If it did, let me know down in the comments. Also give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button, and subscribe. And I just posted over on my Patreon a fun, spicy 18+ reading all about their late night thoughts about you. And I also posted one all about your spiritual progress, the work you've done in the past, and where you're headed with that. So really deep one, and then a very light, fun, spicy one. But there's all kinds of readings over there. We try to cover every kind of topic and vibe. There are love readings and relationship readings, and then money, career readings, shadow work readings, past life readings, future life readings, all different kinds of readings over there. There are about 70 exclusive readings that you'll get access to as soon as you sign up. So if that sounds good to you, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description to join me over on Patreon. And of course, you'll also get early access to all my YouTube videos over there, and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So like I said, if that sounds good, join me on Patreon, and the link is down by the timestamps. And if you want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. You can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, and you get to obviously choose what we talk about. So if you want to sign up there, go to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and I would love to do a reading for you. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you all my love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So for your oracle cards, you guys got 4th chakra, Archangel Raphael, the thinking woman, appreciation, and attachment. So with the thinking woman, one thing that is coming through is you guys may be getting a beautiful gift in the form of an idea. This may be a thought of like an invention or a book or a song you should write or a YouTube channel you should create or a Instagram account you should start, but there is something that Spirit has put in your mind as a thought, a vision, almost like an Ace of Swords moment that you are supposed to learn from. You're supposed to do something with. So if there's something that has been just rattling around in your brain, feels like it just keeps tugging away at you or niggling away at the back of your mind, then that is something you are supposed to step into. That's something you are supposed to use. That's something you're supposed to do. And I'm hearing for some of you guys, Spirit may be giving you the gift of a little bit of time to work on this. So you might find things magically happen for you where you have like a random few afternoons that you can do what you want with. And maybe usually you're very busy, but you end up having like an open stretch, or you end up reading a book that's really inspiring and it makes you want to write something, or you start talking to someone and they're like, by the way, I've been thinking of starting this business. And you're like, oh, that's what I wanted to do. And maybe we should go into business together. But there's almost like a new opportunity. And I feel like it has to do with things you're thinking of, thoughts entering your mind, possibly even with communicating or using your Mercury energy. So communication, writing, that kind of a thing. But I do feel like whatever this idea is, it's going to be, like I said, niggling away in the back of your mind and just kind of tugging at you every so often, trying to get your attention really, really strongly. There's a lot of wanting to pay attention to this, wanting you to pay attention to this. And then I feel like also on your end, there's a little bit of fear, there's a little bit of reluctance. It's kind of like, I don't know if I can do this. And so for some of you guys, you're going to have to really make a conscious choice to push past this and to fully embrace whatever this is, because there is a lot of success potential. But it's almost like that fear is going to keep up. You're going to feel nervous or anxious about it, but that's okay. That's not something for you to listen to. I'm hearing for some of you guys, this may even be an instinct or a sudden thought that you should travel somewhere or go somewhere or move somewhere. But it's almost like a flash of insight or a burst of vision. It may even be very prophetic dreams or very prophetic meditations. I'm feeling like for some of you guys, you may be meditating and having these things just pour through in your meditations. You may be kind of like taking it easy or just having a lazy day, and then suddenly you're like, oh, I have to write this thing, or oh my God, I should go research trips to Thailand or something like that, or I should go research trips to Mexico or moving to, I don't know, like Florida or wherever. And that is like a vision or an insight that I feel like is a gift for you from Spirit. I'm also hearing for some of you guys, these communications are actually being carried through from some of your ancestors, especially if you have like, I'm seeing what looks like a grandmother on the other side. If you have a grandmother or maybe a deceased older female, she might be involved in this, but it's like you have ancestors, no matter who they are on the other side, that are working for you and trying to bring these things to your attention, trying to bring these things into your focus. I'm also hearing there's a few people who may have lost something, like specifically an item, and like not like you lost your mind or you lost someone close to you kind of vibe, but like you lost an actual item and you're gonna find that, and that's gonna be a big gift for you. If it's been something that's been bothering you of like, I can't believe, how did I lose that? When you find it, there's gonna be this massive sense of relief. So I want to get into the tarot. Let me shuffle these really quick, but I already shuffled them, but I'm just going to go to shuffle them one more time. So for pile 3, we want to know about the gifts happening for pile number 3, coming up soon for them. What gifts are coming pile number 3's way? What gifts are coming pile number 3's way? The Queen of Wands. Okay, so that could also be going out more. That could be socializing more. That could be being very active. And the Queen of Wands is full of, she's also very creative, by the way. So speaking of having that insight about a book to write or a creative project, wands are highly creative by nature. They love to create. They're often very talented at creative hobbies. So this could also be an indication that you're supposed to move forward with something like that. And you might also find you have the energy to do that. You might be getting a gift of more energy because the Queen of Wands also is full of energy. She always wants to do something. All my fire sign friends, I was just thinking about it, how they always have so much energy and they always like are just wanting to do stuff, go places. They get bored so easily, and I love that about them. They always push me as my water sign self to like go do more stuff. And that's what's so charming about them. So you may find that you have more energy. You may find that you're like invigorated and you want to do stuff. You want to travel. You want to explore. You want to write that thing down. You want to go for it. And you have the confidence as well to do that because the Queen of Wands is also very confident. She knows herself. She's very powerful. She's very open. It could even be also the gift of like a fling or a very spicy relationship where you're very attracted to the person. You're very excited to be around them. You think they're very attractive. And so, you have that heat, you have that passion when it comes to them. And wands, when it comes to like the aces, I know we didn't pull the Ace of Wands, but thinking of, because to me, this is, like I said, an Ace of Swords moment, but with the Ace of Wands, that can also be a brilliant idea or a crush or something that you just feel like, I have to do this. I'm so excited. I can't wait to work on it. So if you're feeling that way, like if you've suddenly had spirit put in your head of an idea for a story or an idea for a project or for a video or for whatever the case may be, the message is to follow that thread, to go for it. And also spirit wants me to deliver a message that only you are capable of delivering this. And how I think it works is I think spirit picks people from the collective to carry through certain messages. And I think this may be a little bit of a motivator for you guys, but it's almost like if you don't carry through that message, spirit is going to find someone else to do it. So I'm sure we've all had an experience like that where maybe like something goes viral on TikTok or something and we're like, I was thinking of that exact thing. That's so funny because I was thinking of that literally last week. And it's almost like, especially if you have major outer planet placements, then you're probably very tuned into the energy of the collective. So if you have Aquarius placements, Pisces placements, Scorpio placements, all of those are major generational transits. So Scorpio, Pisces, Aquarius all have really long transits because it's Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus. And if you have placements in those, and to a certain extent Capricorn, Saturn, then you're probably very tuned in to the energy of collectively what people are dealing with. Yeah, Pluto, Scorpio, Uranus, or Scorpio, Aquarius, Pisces especially, are great at predicting what's going to happen next, what's going to happen 10 years from now, 5 years from now, a year from now, a month from now. And I think that there's something to be said for, like I said, when spirit needs a messenger, they'll find someone to deliver it. But the kind of scary thing about that is it's not like you have unlimited time. So just like, whenever you get around to it, that's fine. It's like if you're not willing to do that, to carry through that message, to be the one to deliver it and to move it forward, then spirit's going to go ahead and find someone else. Because at the end of the day, like I've mentioned in other readings, we are serving a collective goal. We are trying to raise the vibration of the planet. We all came to Earth to serve out a mission. So if we're not willing to do our part of the mission in that moment, even if spirit is like, you're my perfect person to deliver this, I want you to do it. If we're just like, oh no, I'm scared. It's kind of like if you're working in a restaurant, you got a goal that night, right? Like you're trying to feed people, you're trying to hustle up the money and keep things going. So if you're like, oh, I don't want to serve that table, I can't do it. I don't know. I'm scared because that's my boss's ex-wife and I don't know, I'm intimidated or whatever the case may be, I don't know. They're going to go find someone else working in the back who will go serve that table. They're not going to be like, oh, it's fine. No, we'll tell them to leave or take as much time as you want. Just wait an hour, work up some courage. They're going to be like, no, we'll get Brittany to do it then. Fine. And so if you're not willing to deliver the message, then you're not necessarily going to get the blessing that would come with being that deliverer and being brave enough to be the first to say it. And that's why it's so important when spirit does send us that inspiration that we actually go ahead, get out there. Like that's why you can look at things like trends. And oftentimes, like it's so funny thinking about Pluto and Sag, Gen Z, how they hated minimalism so much. And I gotta say, so happy because I have Venus conjunct Jupiter and I literally loathe minimalism. I think it's evil. I'm a maximalist myself because Venus conjunct Jupiter, I love to expand. I love lots of things. Okay. Jupiter loves to expand. Jupiter loves lots of options. And Sagittarius is, of course, ruled by Jupiter. So the Pluto in Sagittarius generation, they love lots of things. They love lots of colors and they love lots of little knickknacks. And that's how they've chosen to decorate their houses, right? And we were through this big, strong season of minimalism where everything was about being pared down, decluttering. There were lots of trends around that, like Marie Kondo telling everyone to, like, throw out something unless it gives you pleasure and just strip down your house to almost nothing. And the thing is then Gen Z came in. They are a Pluto and Sag generation that's all about excess and expansion and abundance. And again, I love that, but it was like, let's throw away all the minimalism and let's bring in as many knickknacks as we can. And now we have a very colorful interior design style. So it's funny because, again, you might be the first to deliver that message, but people are probably feeling it as a collective. And when you look at the astrology usually backs it up and it makes perfect sense. So that's why when we have a message that Spirit is giving to us, when we have something that Spirit keeps telling us, it's so important to actually listen, to actually embrace it, to lean into it, not to be like, well, I don't know if I want to be the one to say that. That sounds controversial. Or like, well, I don't know because I'd have to create a YouTube account and it's kind of embarrassing. I don't want my friends to see me, so I'm just not going to talk. Okay, then Spirit will find someone else to fill that role because there are multiple people who can fill that role, right? Again, multiple people are going to have astrology placements similar to you. Multiple people are going to have generational placements. Multiple people will be capable of receiving the message. So you might be the best person to deliver that message, but if you're completely unwilling to do it, Spirit's going to find someone else to do it. So you might as well just be the first and get that credit of being the first one to deliver it, because it's kind of like I'm seeing in my mind, someone playing Jeopardy and they're like the first to buzz in versus like the second person. Obviously the first person to buzz in gets the credit and they get all the points. So I don't know who needs to hear that, but I just feel like it's like, keep in mind that you don't have all the time in the world. And I don't mean to stress you guys out, but you might as well fully embrace, like, let me say what I want to say. Let me carry this message through because if you're not doing it, you might not have all the time in the world to do it. So let's get some more cards for pile number 3. What gifts are they getting from Spirit? What gifts are they getting? Okay, so we got oh my God. I literally said the Ace of Wands. That is crazy. You guys, remember I was like Queen of Wands and it's reminding me of the Ace of Wands. Like we got Ace of Swords. I know we didn't get the Ace of Wands. I just love when Spirit is like, yep, girl, you're on the right track. I just love that confirmation. But yeah, I mean, the Ace of Wands is that moment of like, I gotta do it. And it's so funny. I love the aces. And it's funny because the aces actually correspond to the highest element in Kabbalah, Kether, Ether, which is like the connection to God. It's like God energy. And it's so funny because you would think like, okay, if they're going to associate it, one of the cards with the highest element, God energy, you wouldn't necessarily think of the minor arcana, right? And of course, there are major arcana associations with it. But I think it's so cool that actually the way we connect to Spirit of all the cards, it's the aces. It's that moment of inspiration. It's that moment of genius. It's not just like, okay, I worked through it and I did it and I completed it. It's actually in the beginning. It's actually in that like, wow. And I know for me, all my biggest life things, even me as a professional psychic, right? Sometimes you're like trying to make up a decision. And I always say, sometimes someone will be like, well, how did you know this? How did you decide on this course of life? And for me, most of the time I will deliberate a little bit, but I almost always wait for that moment of an Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups moment, just knowing, just a knowing that comes into your mind of like, I should do this. And I know sometimes it's hard even to like wait or have the patience until you have that moment of insight, but truly I think it's the most powerful thing in the world, so it's worth waiting for as much as possible. But the key is not wasting it when it happens. So many times we do get that inspiration, we feel that thing of like, I should start this business, I should call that person, I should blah blah. We feel a deep drawing of a connection of magnetism towards something, towards an action, but we don't really fully take action. We resist it. We think, we talk ourselves out of it. We think, well, yeah, but if I did that, then if I called them right now, that'd be crazy. They probably think I'm a weirdo. I haven't talked to them in like, 6 months. They're gonna think I'm nuts if I call them right now. Or we think, yeah, but like that's a great business idea, but I'm sure lots of other people have thought of it. And, you know, like I know for me, there's people I've heard talking about things on YouTube or TikTok where I'm like, what the heck? I had that exact idea. And then you'll see, it gets 3 million views. I'm sure we've all had that experience, right? Where we're like, what? How are they talking about this? And I thought everyone had that idea, you know? And that's the thing though, is like they were the brave one to actually speak on it. They were the brave one to, instead of second guessing themselves and being like, well, I don't know, I'm not sure. They actually leaned in and followed it, you know? Like I noticed, just speaking in like the tarot community, if you were in the tarot community in 2020, you got a huge boost in like viewers and in subscribers, which makes perfect sense. Everyone's home. It was during a very uncertain time. So of course people probably turned to tarot and pick a cards. But you know what? I feel no like resentment because it's like they were the ones who were brave enough to be on YouTube at that point, before it was as big of a thing. They were the ones who listened to their intuition. They were the ones who pushed through the self-doubt before it was as established of a niche. And they were the ones who were like, you know what, I'm going to do this and I'm going to push myself and I'm going to post this out here. And maybe there's not that many people doing pick a card readings right now, but I feel called. And so they listened. So they deserve that boost. You know what I mean? And I think in general in life, what do they say? To the victor go the spoils, and to the brave one who's willing to put it out there, who's willing to go for it, they're the ones who are going to move ahead. So whatever this is, whatever kind of vision you're getting, even if it's like, I feel like texting that guy and telling him that I have a crush on him, do it, because life is freaking short. That's one thing about life. It's short and it flies by, and you might as well experience all of it with open arms the way the wands cards do. That's what I love about wands energy. It's like, it's not so in their head. It's not so emotional. I mean, it is emotional, but it's more emotional in like an enthusiastic, I gotta do it kind of way, instead of like, oh, let me ruminate and like get up in my feelings and listen to poetry and cry. It's like, I am going to take action. I'm going to do it. I'm going to approach things with so much enthusiasm. So whatever this is, if you're like, I really want to fly to meet up with my crush and I want to fly across the country to see him, and you're feeling called to do it, do it. Maybe there's something in it for you that isn't even about that relationship. That's about a life experience. If it's like, I want to write that book, write the book. If it's like, I want to start that YouTube channel, start the YouTube channel. Whatever it is, it's like, what are you holding yourself back from? I think that's the question you need to ask yourself, pile number 3. Because there is a beautiful gift for you that is going to come on the other side of taking this action, whatever it is, and this risky kind of like, I don't know if I should do this or not. Push through, do it, lean into it. Because I honestly think there's something so special and so beautiful on the other side of it. There's something that, yeah, it is going to make you a little nervous. It is maybe a little risky in some ways, but it's also like the biggest reward you could ever get. And I'm hearing in my mind, no risk, no reward. So yeah. And also like Spirit is talking about the gold rush, how back in the day, like the first people who were, heading out west to like the American West to California to do the gold rush, they were the ones who made all the money. And then all the people who waited until they heard about it, until they knew that like, oh, so there is gold there. Oh, so and so made a lot of money. Oh, okay, now I'll head out there. Now I'll look for it. They didn't get like any money. You know what I mean? So it's all about taking action at the first instinct, being the first, being the bold one, being the one who's going to take that risk, being the one who believes that the crazy is impossible, that the unlikely is possible. Not the crazy is impossible. The crazy is possible. Anyway, that still doesn't make sense even when I rephrased it. But we also got the King of Swords, 4 of Swords, 2 of Wands. Wow, I love that. So perfect for this. And the Moon card. And it's funny, I just said believing the crazy is possible because, and I was like, that sentence doesn't even make sense because we got the Moon card. And the Moon card literally talks about craziness. And so it's funny because the Moon card, I love all the meanings in tarot and astrology. The Moon card can symbolize craziness, delusions, but it's also a highly psychic card. It's ruled by Pisces. And I know everyone always says we're delusional, but anyway, and the tarot apparently agrees because it can have that double meaning of
being crazy or delusional, but it can also talk about psychic abilities and seeing things deeply. And it's funny that they're one and the same, right? The moon in astrology and tarot is a powerful indicator of psychic abilities. If someone has a really strong moon, well aspected moon, or moon in domicile, or moon exalted moon, or moon in Pisces, moon in a water sign, they can be highly psychic, right? But at the same time, we can also see it as a crazy influence. And that's why the word lunatic is literally derived from the root of the word luna. And you can see on like days, if someone works as an EMT or whatever, that, they'll report, oh my God, there's so many more accidents, so many crazy accidents and horrible things that happen in crimes on the day of the full moon. Everyone knows that, right? So we associate the moon with a kind of madness and craziness, but we also associate it with psychic abilities because they're one and the same. Sometimes when you're acting out of a place of true psychic ability, what you're doing seems like it makes no sense. I can't even tell you that doing private readings, like, when you first start out and you're hearing like some of the stuff spirit is telling you, you're like, why would I say that? I'm going to sound deranged if I mention that. And then sometimes spirit won't give up on something. And it only takes a couple times before you're like, okay, I'm just going to say it. This person will think I'm psychotic, but I'm going to tell them that like the cactus is blue or whatever this weird sentence is that makes no sense. And then you say it and the person's eyes will light up and they'll be like, what did you just say? Oh my God. And you realize that as crazy as that was, and as much as it makes no sense to you, to the other person, it means something super specific. And it's exactly what they needed to hear, or whatever confirmation they needed. And so, again, like that's something you have to kind of lean into. It feels very risky when you're like, having to say something that in your mind is literally nuts. And yet that's that thing that will allow you to truly connect and is a straight message from spirit. So never think when you're getting one of those downloads, which you guys might be, you got the Four of Swords, you got the King of Swords, you might be very tuned in to your mind, to your mental, to your dreams right now, to psychic abilities, psychic visions. Don't ever think that, okay, because that sounds crazy, I'm not going to say it, or because that doesn't really make sense logically in a rational place, that I'm not going to do it, that that's not for me. If anything, the more irrational it is, the less it makes conscious sense, the less it like, yeah, that plan, that sounds perfect. The more it's like, that is the weirdest thing I've ever thought of, the more valuable that idea is. And the more it makes perfect logical sense, the more it's probably not coming direct from spirit. You know what I mean? So whatever this is, I just think you're being called to be really bold and embrace it and go for it and stop holding yourself back. Let me get into some astrology, guys. What's the astrology here for the gifts? Pile number 3 are going to get. So we got the 10th house, we got Venus, and then we got Virgo. Okay, so 2 earth signs, and then we got Venus, which rules over Libra and Taurus. Capricorn and Virgo are also here. So, okay, so Capricorn can be all about your career. It can be about reputation. It can be about image. It's also a public kind of house. So it's about how people perceive you to a certain extent, your reputation. And again, maybe that's some of your concern is like worrying about your reputation, worrying about, yeah, but people are going to think I'm crazy if I do this. With Virgo, it can even be that self-doubt. Virgo is such a perfectionist that they can be really harsh and self-critical towards themselves. Capricorn can as well, and kind of be like that overly doubtful. Like, I have to line up all my ducks in a row. I have to have everything perfectly lined up, and I don't want to take any risks. I'm scared. Doesn't make sense. I have to think this through. And it's interesting that Virgo opposes Pisces on the astrological wheel because one likes things to be very organized, very detail, a lot of facts. Everything has its space. It's kind of like, I always think of Virgo as kind of like facts and logic, like I want all the details and I want to dot all my I's and cross my T's and I want everything in its place. And then Pisces is like, oh, whatever, it's fine. Everything's cool. Everything's chill. But Pisces is the psychic sign, right? Not to say Virgos can't have psychic abilities, but Pisces directly relates to psychic abilities. It's ruled by Neptune and all of that. So it's interesting that the energy that's kind of about releasing, letting go, and not having all those details is the one that actually connects to God, to spirit. Because there's something about spirit that I can tell you, it just doesn't make any sense. It's the long shot. It's the thing that, yeah, it does not make sense. has no facts and data, has no, like statistics to back it up, and is just about pure faith. And honestly, I feel like for you guys, you're being called to step into that. You're being called to trust this process and to trust your own abilities and to be brave enough to lean into this, to be brave enough to like let this take you where it may, instead of having your logical mind turn on and tell you all the reasons why it can't work out, or how it doesn't make sense, or how it's, a long shot. Oh, well, but spirit makes magical things happen all the time. And with Venus, Venus is such a beautiful energy that is also creative and loves beauty and nice words and all that. I honestly feel like for some of you guys, this is something that may be a creative instinct, or it may be, like I said, a move, but it may be career oriented, because we also got Capricorn, which is a 10th house career house. But with Venus, I really feel like there's something that you really need to give your all to. And sometimes when Venus is involved, it just is such a beautiful benefic. It makes it easy. So this may be something that you're thinking about, that you're like, yeah, but it's going to be so hard. Or yeah, I'm going to have to, but if I do this, I'm going to have to do blah, blah, blah. And like, I can't do that. It's going to be so much effort. And I just don't know. I don't know if I can do it. And Spirit is like, listen, I'll make it easy for you. If you can trust the process, if you can let it happen. I'm not saying that's the case for everyone, but for some of you guys, you may have that beautiful energy of Venus like ushering things along, making it smooth, making it flow for you. So I think you're really being called to step into this, to be bold, like I said, to trust the process. But yeah, I think that's what I have for you, pile number 3. So I hope it resonated, guys. If it did, let me know in the comments and give this a like and a thumbs up. And I just posted over on my Patreon an 18 plus spicy reading all about their late night thoughts about you. So like I said, it's a spicy, fun one. And then I also posted a reading all about your spiritual progress. So all the work you've done and where you're headed to with your spiritual work, your shadow work. So we got a really light, fun one, and then a more heavy, deeper one. But there's lots of content like that to choose from. We try to really cover all the bases over on Patreon. So there's about 70 exclusive readings over there, and new ones go up all the time. We have career readings, money readings, and then love readings, relationship readings, shadow work, past lives, future life, relocation readings, all different kinds of topics. And like I said, around 70 exclusive readings over there. And we also get early access and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So you'll be the first to watch any YouTube video as soon as you sign up for my Patreon. And the link for that is down underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description. So I'd love to see you there over on Patreon. And if you want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. And you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, and you get to ask me basically whatever you want and to focus on whatever aspect of your life you want. So if all that sounds good to you, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and I would love to do a reading for you. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you all my love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile number 4, welcome to your reading. So for your oracle cards, you got the 5th chakra Archangel Gabriel, 6th chakra Archangel Metatron, anxiety, and man holding a coin. So this is such an exciting reading because I feel this is a very specific message. That's because you got 5th chakra Archangel Gabriel and then Archangel Metatron. Both of those angels actually deal with very specific things. Writing, okay, communicating, getting your opinion across. So to me, there's a very strong message coming through. Some of you guys may have also felt drawn to pile 3, but for you, I honestly feel like you are being called to pursue something that may have to do with communication. It may have to do with writing, with putting something out there, and you're being told that you will be supported in this mission. Okay, so there's a very complex message. I'm going to try to get it all out, but it's very much channeling through me, so bear with me. But with Metatron, okay, Metatron actually used to be a human. Metatron is the youngest of the angels and lived life as a human, did such a great job that they became an angel. And in their life, they actually were a great record keeper, and they are a record keeper of the Akashic records. So they write things down. Metatron understands the struggles of being human and what it's like to be human, what it's like to carry out a divine mission, and maybe all the human struggles associated with that, right? Metatron is not one of those angels that's always lived up in the other and never experienced life on earth. So Metatron really understands how difficult it can be. And if there's something you have really felt called to do, but you've been anxious about doing it, but you felt like, yeah, but I can't really do this. I can't carry it out. Interestingly, Metatron also rules over ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and any struggles like that. So if there's something that you're like, I really want to do this, but I don't know if I'm powerful enough. I don't know if I have the focus. I don't know if I have the attention span. Yes, I have the idea, but how am I actually going to carry it out? Metatron will be there. Call upon Metatron for help. And interestingly, Gabriel is just a double whammy. Gabriel literally rules the throat chakra and helps in all kinds of careers that have to do with communication. Any kind of communication, whether it's writing, whether it's speaking, even something like modeling or putting photographs out there, anything that has to do with communicating a message, Gabriel is there. So I really feel like you need to know you are so divinely supported with putting out whatever message this is. Your angels are so strongly around you. And I feel like for some of you guys, there's almost this feeling of like, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. Why me? Why was I picked to do this? And I feel like you need to know that you are the perfect person to deliver this message. So if Spirit has put something in your heart, whatever it may be, there is a reason why Spirit has given it to you. Because I feel like pile 4, y'all are more eloquent than you even realize. You are a better speaker than you realize. You may have a prettier voice than you realize. You may not be the most accurate arbiter of exactly how good you are. If you're doubting yourself, if you're feeling like, yeah, like there's so many better spoken people than me, you don't know that. You may not know your own strengths and weaknesses. And I really feel like you will be divinely supported in whatever this is. Spirit wants you to carry out this message. And also Spirit knows how hard it can be as a human to do this. And that's why he sent Metatron around you to assist. So if you are feeling delayed or stuck or feeling like you just can't do it, ask Metatron for help. He used to be a human. He understands the struggle of it, and he will be around you to make sure that you get that extra dose of support, that you're able to focus, that you're able to pay attention. And you can also ask Gabriel, especially because she rules communication. So if you're like, yeah, I'm trying to write this book, but it's super hard, I keep getting delays on it, you need to know that Gabriel is going to be there helping you. Also, Metatron rules over the Akashic records and is the record keeper of that. Metatron is great at organization and all things having to do with that. So if you're feeling disorganized, if you're feeling scattered, you can ask Metatron for help with whatever this is. But also, I think it's so powerful that Metatron rules the Akashic records because, of course, the Akashic records are our records of our karma, all the good things we've done, all the bad things we've done, what we managed to accomplish in this lifetime and what we didn't. And so, of course, being reminded of that is being reminded that like we don't just have unlimited time on this planet to do literally whatever we want. I do think we can do what we want in this lifetime. We can make our life for ourselves, but I also believe firmly that we all have divine goals, missions that we were sent to this earth to live out. And depending on who you are, some people may have a slightly more important, or should I say, I guess a better word would be widespread, like they're supposed to affect the collective more than others. But we all have a mission and we all have something that we are put on this earth to carry out. We came to this earth to serve the collective in that way. And in that sense, that it's so important for us to actually live it out and to actually do it. And when we are resisting something Spirit has put in us, when we are like, yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure if I can do that, that's really kind of not living up to what we were supposed to do. And we're not going to get that beautiful mark on our Akashic record saying, yes, they carried out the collective for Spirit. They carried out the the mission for Spirit, for the collective, okay? They carried out what they were supposed to do. They did do that task. They checked it off. They did their mission. We're not going to get that positive note in our records. And don't we all want that? Don't we want to be able to ascend up the ladder and to carry out missions and to live our greatest soul journey? Isn't that what we signed up to this planet to do, right? And so if there's something you've been dawdling about, if there's something that you're like, yeah, I feel really called to talk about this, but like, I don't know if I'm ready. I feel like your guides are like, come on, you know you're the person who can do this, and your voice can be so powerful, pile four. I really feel like there's something you're supposed to speak up on, something you're supposed to do. This may even be in your own personal life, being more transparent, being more genuine about your feelings about things. I think in general, because discourse online and in private seems like it's really taken such a negative turn within the past few years, I would say. And I feel like a lot of people feel like they can't even speak up about anything because anything could be controversial or anything could be kind of taken out of context or anything could be used against them. And that's such a sad indication of the place we're at in the world, because the thing is that, of course, in my opinion, everyone benefits when we're having free and open discussion. And if there's something that you have felt powerfully called to speak up on, or you have felt powerfully called to speak out about, I think this is your mission, that you need to go ahead and do that. And it's funny because if everyone speaks up at the same time, right? Not everyone can be punished or censored. So if everyone was to truly give their honest opinions about a lot of things, nothing could be done. People are only subjugated through silence. So we might as well speak up, give our opinions, and whatever that may be, whatever you're feeling, truly live out our most authentic self. So I honestly feel for a lot of you guys, you're being called, even if it's just in private, even if it's just with your coworkers or with your friends or with your family, there is a call for you to speak out, that you are convincing, that you are charismatic, that people listen to you and you have influence. And so, pile four, you need to make sure you're using that, especially if Spirit has gifted you the gift of charisma, of being well spoken. That's something for you to truly use. That's something for you to truly embrace. You know, when you think about it, like certain things like, um, I know this is kind of sad and depressing, but I was just reading this thing about how a lot of people have very low IQs. And it's surprising actually to see the statistics and to think about that, and to think about if you were someone who was blessed with a very active mind, if you were someone who was blessed with the ability to process information really quickly or to speak out well, that you have a good speaking voice, or you have your eloquence, you're good with words, that is not something for you to just take for granted and like, oh, well, whatever, I'm just not really going to use it. If you were gifted with that, just like you were gifted with anything else, it's really important for you to use it. So I feel like maybe pile four, some of you guys have anxiety about this and you're like, yeah, I don't really want to say this though, or whatever I'm feeling called to do, whatever art it is, or whatever, you know, thing I'm thinking of. Yeah, it's a little crazy and I don't want to do it and people are going to think it's weird. Good. Good. If people think it's weird, that means it's disruptive. You know, Uranus, Aquarius placements tend to be some of the most influential, and it's also a fame placement because Uranus and Aquarius can be very forward thinking and can tune into the energy of the collective and predict trends or things that are going to happen to the collective beforehand. And so it can actually be influential, but often Aquarians get hit with like a, oh my God, what you're doing is weird, or I don't know about that. That seems really crazy. And that's the reason why those two things go hand in hand, the wow, that's weird, and the fame placement, is because that's part and parcel of it, right? Like that is a major part of being able to make an impact. Is, yeah, a lot of people at first are going to react badly to it. That shouldn't hold you back. That should be something you embrace, you accept, and you just kind of like welcome in as part of the process. Of course, it may not be the most pleasant process. You may not be welcoming in people being like, what the heck is this? But accepting that as part of it and knowing that you will be protected through that process is a really crucial part of being willing to engage, being willing to put it out there. So I really feel like you guys are being called to push yourself out of your comfort zone and lean forward into whatever this is, whatever form of communication this is, because I'm hearing the collective needs your voice. Okay. Whew, I really felt I had to channel that. Some of y'all might have also felt called to pile three. If you felt drawn to that pile, go ahead and watch it. But yeah, there's a slightly similar vibe. It's a little different, but I don't know. I think a lot of people may be being called to speak up to the collective right now. We also got man holding a coin. So there may be a financial incentive. This is maybe saying that if you are willing to be brave and raise your voice and use your voice, that you may be able to financially benefit from it as well. Let's get into some tarot for pile number 4. What gifts is pile number 4 getting? What gifts is pile 4 getting? So we got the Two of Swords. That's definitely a card of being conflicted, trying to make your mind up. And I feel like that's for some of you guys what energy you're already in. Also the Nine of Swords. I don't know what kind of gift the Nine and Two of Swords would indicate, but I kind of think that's your current energy, a feeling very like, see, trying to make your mind up, weighing out different options, trying to figure it out. And I almost feel like there's a message that you might not be able to figure any of it out until, I think sometimes when we're feeling called to do something really bold, sometimes we're waiting for that moment of perfect clarity, or we're waiting to get that psychic reading where they say exactly what it is, or we're waiting for, a certain indicator, a certain sign. And sometimes we have to accept that we're not ever going to get it. Sometimes we have to be willing to exist in that place of uncertainty. You can see this guy on the Two of Wands. He's setting out on this mission and staring out at this land in front of him. And it is a moment of bravery, right? He's needing to kind of step out there and be bold. And he doesn't quite know where he's going to end up. And that is the energy I think you're feeling called to exist in. Is like, if there's something you're feeling called to communicate out, or there's something about, or there's something you're trying to kind of forge your path in, and you're like, I don't know, like, how is this going to work? And I don't know if I have this. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's okay for you to be uncertain. It's okay for you to not know. But what's really not okay is for you to waste your time, waste your gifts, waste your talents, and not do anything with it. I really feel called you're taking your, and we got the Star card on the bottom of the deck. I'm just going to use it because I'm feeling so called to, and it fits that message. And I was talking about Aquarius. Aquarius rules the Star card, and the Star is a fame card, right? And it's ruled by Aquarius. So I didn't even think of that, but another double whammy for what I was literally just saying, which is like, to get that fame, to get that success, sometimes you have to step out and do something a little weird. And I really feel for a lot of you guys, this is about taking a step into the unknown. This is about not knowing exactly where the path is going to lead you, or not knowing how this could work out, but doing it anyway, being bold and brave enough and trusting spirit. Y'all have a lot of angels around you. You have a lot of guides around you, and you will be protected on this journey, whatever it is, wherever it takes you. Let's get some more cards for pile number 4. What gifts are they getting from spirit? We have a lot of divine downloads coming through. The Moon card. And it's funny, pile 3 got this as well. And I shuffled this deck so well. They got some other cards with this, but they did get the Four of Swords and the Moon. I'm telling you, there's a connection to pile 3. But the Moon and the Four of Swords, both divine downloads, psychic cards, meditation cards. So this may be an idea, a thought that keeps coming to you. Maybe as you're drifting off to sleep, it just enters into your mind, or you're like, I just have this idea for a book running around in my head, and it just keeps rattling around. I keep pushing it away, but it just stays there. But I don't know how I could write this. I'm not a writer. How could I do this? Or maybe you're like, I really want to make a video game, but yeah, I have no familiarity with a video game world. Like, I was just reading an article the other day about how much money Grand Theft Auto made. Not so sure how good Grand Theft Auto is for the collective. I don't know if they were serving the divine mission of the collective when they made Grand Theft Auto, but all things work, in my opinion, for good somehow. So maybe that is benefiting the collective in some way. But my point is they had this idea, and who could have predicted all the things it would lead to? And a lot of famous business people have said that, like, they start something, they have no idea where it's going to take them, but it's an idea that keeps persisting for them. It's an idea they can't kind of push out of their mind. And that's why it's so important to take that stuff seriously, not to push away from it, not to doubt it, not to try to figure out every detail, but just to be willing to take that blind faith, that kind of leap into the unknown, and go for it. And especially when it's something spirit keeps pushing on you, something spirit keeps bringing to your attention, something spirit keeps putting in your mind, that is such a clear sign that it's something you're supposed to pursue. Let's get some more cards. So this may be real success in whatever this area is, with whatever kind of communication this is. Let's see, what is this? The Page of Pentacles. Yeah, it could be a beautiful business idea. Another psychic card, the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is a really complex card and it can have multiple meanings. But maybe because I'm a water sign, grand water trine, and I love cups energy because it is water rules cups. But I love the Seven of Cups. I know some people don't like it so much, but there's so many different possibilities that exist within all these different cups, right? And some of them may be slightly more or less likely than others, but to me, this shows the power of manifestation. And it shows that also our future is not set in stone. I think sometimes people get psychic readings or tarot readings and they're like, what's going to happen? And I think a lot of tarot readers, psychics will say, it's not, I mean, I think maybe certain things are set as like a fated thing, but I think so much of our life is going to be changed by our personal choices, the decisions we make. And sometimes people think, well, I'm just going to sit like a bump on a log. I'm not going to do anything. And this is just going to magically fall in my lap. And sometimes things like that happen. You magically meet someone, you magically get a career opportunity, but most of the time you have to take active steps to make that happen. We can't just like sit back and do literally nothing and expect that we're going to fall in love with the pizza delivery guy when we haven't left the house in 6 months. I mean, the chances of that are pretty low, right? And also, it really limits our options. Even if we do fall in love with the pizza delivery guy, maybe there was like a really amazing, like super attractive, successful guy that we were actually supposed to meet, but because we haven't left the house in 6 months, we fall in love at first sight with like this random pizza delivery man, and maybe he's not even the right one for us, you know what I mean? But we are in a scarcity mindset because we haven't met anyone else. So honestly, I think that this is your message about like you have to be bold. You have to go after the things you want. And sometimes the things that are just seeming like one slight, like we think it's going to go one way. We think that like, oh, this could happen and this could kind of be a success that looks like this. And it ends up spiraling or kind of snowballing into something so much bigger and so much better. Sometimes that tiny little idea you have, like J.K. Rowling thinking of that idea for Harry Potter and scribbling it down on a cocktail napkin, ended up making her a billionaire. I'm sure she could never have known that. But what was different about her was she was willing to follow that little string that spirit had put in her mind. She was willing to be brave enough. And she was not only willing to be brave enough and think about that idea, but she was willing to do the work to make it happen. Because also the Seven of Cups can talk about how thinking on things, dreaming of things, trying to manifest things, yes, it's a beautiful energy and it's something we should do. But without work, without actually putting the work in and having that Page of Pentacles, I'm willing to sit down every day. I'm willing to, if I'm trying to write a book, it's not enough just to have the idea that we'd never tell to anyone. We have to actually sit down and do the boring work of writing, of scribbling away, of sitting alone in our room and typing away on a laptop. And it's not exactly super fun, right? I think all writers say like writing is kind of hell. I can say that because I cursed in another reading. I try never to curse on YouTube, but I think the ship sailed today. But yeah, writing is hell, right? Like it's boring, it's solitary. It's not something you can be distracted with and kind of like, oh, I'm watching TV. Well, I'll write a little, I'll do that. You have to really give it your all, and it can be excruciating. But that's what you have to do to get that best-selling novel. That's what you have to do to get to the other side. That's what you have to do to achieve your goal. So without work, without being willing to be that Page of Pentacles and sit down and give it our all, then it's not going to happen. It's going to stay as an idea up in the ether, up in the spirit realm. We're never going to bring it down to the earth. We have to be in pentacle energy to make it a reality on this planet. It can stay in cup energy and exist in a beautiful place up in a cloud, but without actually bringing it down and doing that pentacle energy, it's not going to happen here in this dimension, right? So that's what we came to Earth to do. That's why we are on this planet and not up with the angels. It's because we're supposed to do stuff in this world. And that's why it's important to actually put the work in, put our nose to the grindstone and do it. And like I said, you have all these angels around you. You have Metatron around you, who is great at dealing with, procrastination, ADHD, all these kind of human limitations. Spirit knows that humans have these proclivities, that we get bored easily, that we kind of don't want to put the work in, especially nowadays when it's so easy to just go on YouTube or TikTok or whatever random website and just like while away the hours or play video games, speaking of Grand Theft Auto, and just kind of like not actually do the work. Spirit knows how hard that is. And of course, Metatron knows that because he used to be a human. And so he is willing to help us. He has that patience to work with us. So if you have to call upon Metatron, if you're like, yeah, I'm super ADHD, and honestly, sitting down and writing a book literally seems like a level of hell for me, then ask Metatron for help. Ask Metatron to give you that focus, to give you that attention, to give you that energy to do it. And ask Gabriel as well to bless your communication ability. But I really feel like for a lot of you guys, you are being called to communicate. You're being called to push yourself, to put it out there, to go for it, to make this happen, and to really unleash your dreams. I know this is a scary thing to do, but you have the raw goods, you have the raw gifts, the raw talents, the raw materials pile for, and I really feel like you need to lean into it. Your gift, your voice is a gift to the collective. Okay? Your presence is a gift to the collective. Let me get some astrology dice for pile number 4. What astrological energies are at play here? So we got the 10th house, we got Scorpio, and oh my God, wow. And we got the notes. I'm telling you, this is a destiny moment for you guys, okay? This is about possibly your past lives preparing you for this life, past lives preparing you for your destiny and for accomplishing it and for living out your life mission. You may have lived other past lives where you did similar stuff, or you may have had difficult past lives that gave you the wisdom to be able to carry this out. And when I looked over at my little timer, it said 2222. Wait, 2222. Yeah, 2222. So seriously, like so much synchronicity here for you guys. You got angel numbers going on. This is literally such a strong message that you need to live this out, and that it is a destiny moment. You might not even know your destiny. Your destiny may be so much more than the limits you put on yourself or what you thought you were capable of accomplishing. You may have literally no idea of how special, how talented, how good of a voice you have. And I feel like your guides are like, I'm going to help you do this, but we want this out in the collective. We want other people to get to hear and be blessed by your information, your downloads that you get. Pile number 4. We also got the 10th house, which is ruled by Capricorn. That is a house of public honors and recognition. So again, I feel like this is supposed to serve the collective. There is some energy of you being supposed to share this with the collective in some way or another. You to share this with multiple people. And also it may have to do with your career. Maybe this is something that you're like, well, I have studied to be an accountant and that's all lined up, but you're going to be so talented at writing that you might shift into being an author as your career. Or you're going to be so gifted when you start making your YouTube videos that you're supposed to be a full-time YouTuber. Or you're going to be so gifted at, I don't know, making TikTok videos that cheer everyone up that you're going to be a TikToker. But I really feel like there's something about communication or putting yourself out there. Even something like being a lawyer or something, I could see being, in this same vein, in the same realm that Archangel helps with, because it's all about communicating. It's all about giving your opinion. And honestly, we need people, because there's so many like horrible people at the top of various industries and various countries, that we definitely need people who are actually genuinely trying to serve the collective, who genuinely care about humanity and are kind and have good motivations, instead of clown-likely selfish, horrible people that seem to run so many different things in this world, right? So for you guys, honestly, like I said, keep in mind your Akashic records are getting kept, and you need to make sure that you are serving them as much as you can. And I think sometimes people think like, well, I'm going to be really nice and I'm going to tip this person well, and I'm going to give this person a hug. And so I'm adding to my Akashic records and my karma. And like, yeah, you are. But think of that as like, a tiny fraction of what you could do. Think of how much more powerful it is to be genuinely serving the collective on such a grand scale, right? Think of truly using your voice to change humanity, to change destiny, to change people's opinions, and think about how powerful that would be. Think about how much of an addition to your Akashic records kept by Metatron that could happen in that case. And if that needs to be your motivator, then do it that way, because keep in mind that, like I said, our history, our destiny, the destiny of our planet, of our people, of our everything is not necessarily set in stone. We don't necessarily know exactly what's going to happen. And it's easy sometimes to sink into this complacent energy of like, well, I'll let them handle it. Or like, well, those people are the ones in office. I'm sure they know better than me. Or I'm sure that like all the business people, they know what they're doing. No, they probably don't. They may be super incompetent. They may be super crazy. I mean, I grew up in DC, so I've met politicians, and I can tell you that a lot of them are not super smart. Okay, we'll leave it at that. But why couldn't it be you? And if you genuinely are motivated from a place of kindness, intelligence, genuine love for others, that's a lot better than most people can say, or a lot of people in power can say. A lot of the people who end up in power positions are just power hungry. So think of how much of a positive blessing it could be when you, as someone who is a kind, genuine hearted person, moved into a position of power. And think of what a blessing that would be for everyone. And then we also got Scorpio, and Scorpio is, to me, a very faded energy. It's also about having that strength of Pluto, having that strength of Mars, being willing to go in, being willing to be brave about it. You know, Scorpio and Aries are probably the two most brave, maybe, signs in the zodiac, because they are ruled by Aries, and they just will rush into battle no matter what, even if they know they're going to be defeated. And it's funny because I was thinking today about how, the Vikings are such feared warriors, and everyone was afraid of the Vikings back in the day, and they ended up traveling and settling to so many different parts of the world and really conquering so much. And the reason why they were able to do that is because they believed that they would die. If they died in battle, they would go straight to Valhalla. And so it's almost like this consideration about a world that exists outside of us, a realm, a destiny that's so much bigger than us, that we don't need to be afraid even of any negative things that could happen in this dimension, right? Because we need to be focusing on our lifetime, on our soul, on everything that goes outside of this realm and continues on past us, our legacy, that kind of a thing. And so sometimes, even if you are scared of like, well, I don't know if I want to put this out there, or I don't know how this is going to react, or, oh, this is just annoying to have to do this. Whatever the case may be, whatever the resistance may be, it's focusing on the long-term thing. It's focusing on something that's so much bigger than us and is going to carry on through history, not just be ending with our comfortable existence. You know what I mean? So yeah, this was a powerful message, but I had to channel it, guys. I hope it resonated. Please let me know if it did. I'm really curious about this pal, so I would love to know how it resonates for you, because I really feel like this pal has a very special, important destiny. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Also, make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button. And over on Patreon, I just posted a reading all about their late night thoughts about you. So it's a little fun 18 plus spicy reading. And then after that, I posted a reading all about your spiritual progress. So the work you've done spiritually and what you're continuing on towards when it comes to your spiritual work, your shadow work. So if we have kind of like the range of like the spicy fun reading, the kind of like exciting love reading, and then more of a heavy spiritual shadow work reading. But there's so many different readings over there. There's about 70 additional readings. So there are plenty of love relationship readings. And then we got the career money readings. And then we got the shadow work readings and the past life readings, future life readings. There's so much for you to watch, choose from, and go after. Like I said, over 70 exclusive readings. And then you'll also get early access and ad-free access to my YouTube readings. So they always get posted over there first. So if you're interested in that and it sounds good to you, check out the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me over on Patreon. And if you want to get a private one-on-one reading with me and get my specific channeled guidance for your situation, then you can head to the link in my description for my website, briarrosetarot.com. You can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, and get specific advice for whatever situation you have in mind. And if all that sounds good to you, like I said, go to my website, briarrosetarot.com. Link is in my description for that. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye.